All right, welcome back to the slide. I am your host, Coach Aaron, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Coach Jenn.
Good evening.
You got to do like the Vanna White thing or something, like maybe. There you go. We'll put the when this is video, we'll put the slide logo right there where your hands were, and that'll be amazing. Yep, see,
Okay.
it's floating right there in your hands. We just don't see it right now.
I
Anyway.
can't wait.
Thank you guys very much for listening to us today. We are here at episode 25. 25 on season 2, Jenn. I think we've spent a lot of time doing this.
Yeah, we have recorded a lot this year, and it's been fun to really, meet people from all across the country and just come together.
Yeah, I mean, we only recorded, I think, 28 episodes in season 1, and we're
Oh,
already on
really?
25 in season 2, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. We might need to slow down. I don't know.
The people love us. The people have
I
spoken
think
and they want
so.
to talk baseball.
And our guests today, they don't know that they're on the #1 youth baseball, youth sports podcast in the world. They don't know that. So, but we're going to tell them right now.
Now they do.
They do now.
Yeah.
So, well, you've seen their names in the titles, you've seen their names in the description. And so today we are joined by Alexia Jorge. Ma'am, how are you?
Jorge.
And we are also joined with Maggie Fox. How are you
What's up?
doing, ma'am?
Doing great. What about you?
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. So these two ladies join us with our connection with Coach Allie on the show. So Allie brags on both of these two. I got a chance to read a little bit about both of them, and super excited today to talk to Alexia and Maggie. So without further ado, we'll get started. So Alexia and Maggie both are catchers in baseball. So one is, I guess you would consider professional at the professional level. And we have one in the high school level. So we have two different points of view right now of ladies in baseball, and super excited to hear your story, Alexia. So you picked baseball. Like, why?
Well, I mean, I guess it all started when I was 3. I played for my brother's t-ball team, and you have to be 5 to start t-ball. And my brother was he was 5, and my dad was one of the assistant coaches. And he was like, "We're short a player, so let me just throw my daughter out there." And so that's kind of how my path started. I played baseball through Little League, through Babe Ruth, high school. I played 3 years of varsity baseball, and now I'm in college. I'm currently a sophomore. I'm
Okay.
playing at St. Elizabeth's University. So I'm on the varsity team there. And in the middle of high school, I made the USA national team, which is a female baseball team that travels the world and competes for gold medals. And so I kind of go between college baseball right now and the women's national team.
Right. So let's go back to 3 years old. Like, so obviously, I mean, when you get thrown into a t-ball game, a six-shoot game, like, it can go either way. But as you're starting to get older, what kept you from playing softball?
I don't know, honestly. Like it was just something about baseball that always kind of kept me in it. I
Mhm.
remember one of the things that I remember from when I was little, around like 5, was my dad asking me, "So, do you want to switch to softball or do you want to continue playing baseball?" And I told him, like, right off the bat, I was like, "I want to play baseball," and like with no hesitation. And so, kind of from there on out, like I just kept with baseball and never really let anything get in my way because it was just something I fell in love with.
So you're one of the crazy catchers. I think the catching position has grown the name Crazy Catchers on the show. But have you always played catcher, or what gravitate like what pulled you to that position?
One day in minor league baseball, my coach was like, "All right, we need a catcher," and all the other guys were afraid to catch. And I was like, it looks like fun, so let me just go behind there. He saw that I was like one of the bigger kids on the team and was like, "Yeah, let's put you back there because you look like you can handle yourself." And I had a blast with it. Obviously, I'm still catching now in college, so I mean, I think it's great. I love it.
Did you ever have any issues with coaches growing up with you wanting to play the catcher position?
No, not positionally. Like obviously being a female,
Right.
the guy sport. That's where I had more of a struggle, but not being a catcher. No,
Okay.
once they saw that I could like play and like I was good at what I do, like they realized, oh no, she's probably like our best option, you know. But coaches wise, being a female, that's where we get the whiplash.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit more about being a catcher in a male dominated sport, if you will. Like to maybe a parent that might be listening who thinks, oh my gosh, my daughter wants to continue to play baseball and I don't want her to do that, or I don't think that there's a place for her. What would you say to that parent who's kind of on the fence or doesn't have an opportunity or know where to start with it?
I think it really depends on like how you well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because like if the daughter really wants to do it and it's something she'll accomplish no matter what happens and no matter what obstacles come in her way, like she's gonna achieve that goal. I think me and Maggie both can speak for that. She's on the high school team now. I'm on college team now with guys. Like no matter what we put our minds to, we accomplish them. And so
Yeah, I
I
love
think
that.
same to like younger girls, whatever age they are, if they want to go into baseball or a male dominated sport or workforce or whatever it may be. Um, as long as you set your mind to it and never let anybody stop you, you should be completely fine. Like there's no doubt in my
You
mind.
know, that's such a good point that it's not just baseball. It can really translate into your career or, any higher level position, whether that's through something in the community that's normally been all males or your church that's normally been all males, then you can definitely get involved in things like that without any obstacles. This is 2023. We are moving up and moving on. So I think that's a really good point to make, that if there are any parents that are listening who think that my daughter might have a little bit of trouble because of X, Y, and Z, then talk to Alexia and Maggie, because I think they've broken through those barriers. So that's awesome. I love it.
So you did allude to it a little bit earlier when you said you didn't necessarily find a lot of resistance from the catching position as much as you did from just playing ball. Like, what did that look like growing up?
I mean, so catching where I grew up, it was kind of different. Like you didn't get like a lot of coaching. So a lot of what I learned up until high school was from me watching major leaguers play on TV.
Right.
And I focused on one player in particular. His name is Brian McCann. He retired a few
Yep.
years back. Great guy. I kind of like modeled how I catch after him, and so that's how I learned. But then obviously once I got into high school and stuff like that, I started having a little bit more coaching and a little bit more direction for the coaching staff. Our coaching staff on the national team is amazing. Veronica Alvarez, she's the catching
Oakland
coach
A's.
for the Oakland A's. Yeah,
Yep.
she's so I'm fortunate enough. Me and Maggie are both fortunate enough now to learn from her and use her as a resource whenever we want and get the best coaching, honestly. So, but from when I was little, it's a huge improvement,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be more thankful for it right now.
What did you like? How many times did you have to answer the questions around like why? Why are you here? Almost, it's they didn't ask that question, but that's really what they were asking. Like, how many times did you have to answer that?
Uh, Quite a few. I'd probably say like 5 to 7 a year, maybe.
Right.
It's probably like a guesstimate, but no, I've gotten the question like, why do you play baseball up until like a couple weeks ago? Like, like why don't you play softball? Like that question, like it's always there. It's never going away either. So
It will. I think it's just going to take time, but
yeah, definitely.
the more that we normalize women actually like to play baseball, like it's not even, it shouldn't even make a headline. Like women just like to play baseball. It's like Jenn saying she likes to play chess and I saying I like to play checkers. Okay. I mean, I have no clue how to play chess, but if Jenn wants to teach me, yeah, let's go. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Who knows? But
It's just another sport. I mean,
it
let's
is.
be honest about it. It's just a sport. Just because it's been male driven for a couple of years, like you look back at
Yeah, a couple.
we a couple of years. I was thinking about Maybell when I said that. Like she played baseball her entire life, but now she's advocating for women in baseball as well. So like it's been done. This is nothing brand new. This has been done before.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I think it's awesome though. I think it shows. I think for all of our listeners out there, if you've got a daughter, like think about what these two ladies go through, and it's not necessarily to say that they deal with struggles every single day, but look, these guys have got to be strong, and they've got to be ready and be prepared for who knows what tomorrow. And I think it's pretty freaking awesome. So I think it says a lot about you as a person, your character, and just your drive as a human being to go, just to go down this route. So,
Yeah.
um, Alexia, like, tell us about the USA team. And I'm sorry, Jen, you were about to step in, but
Oh,
in
I'll
typical
save
fashion,
mine. Go ahead.
yeah, in typical fashion, I just butt in, but
Interrupt me all the time, Aaron. No,
I
it's okay.
know.
Go ahead, Alexia.
So, and just everyone out there listening, so there's a USA baseball team that's dedicated to women, and they play for the World Cup. So, and Alexia is one of those members on that team. So, tell us about this team.
So we are a 20 women roster. We have a couple games a year and training camps a year, and where we go and compete and try to practice and get better as much as we can. And then every 2 years we go and go to the World Cup, which is basically just the girls' version or the women's version of the WBC that just played a couple months ago down in Florida
Mm-hmm.
and different parts of the country. So we're the same thing, but just women's baseball. And so we travel, we get the same gear, the same uniforms, like everything's the same. It's just baseball. Fields are the same, like it's baseball.
And honest, how did I go 45 years, 44 years, and not know about this team?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. I mean, I found out about it when I was like 10. So
Okay.
And
Well,
I think if it wasn't for social media, we may still not know about it.
yeah.
If Facebook or Instagram, all that wasn't a thing,
I'm
it
not
would
sure.
be. I'm not sure either. I have a love-hate
It
relationship
definitely
with
has
social
benefited
media,
us.
but
It's benefited us.
Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely has. I didn't even know that there was a fast pitch men's league either, and Allie enlightened me on that one too. And okay, I mean,
yeah,
because because I asked Allie, I'm like, so how do you deal with the questions of, well, because I read the headlines, and then I read all these posts, and these guys will respond, well, men don't go play softball, and then Allie was like, I said, how do you respond to those kind of things? Because those are sort of the normal trends that we see, when we look at these kind of stuff, and it was like, well, then go play. There's men's fast pitch league, and I was like, what? And she explained it to me, and like, okay, wow. So
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. People don't really understand that there's men's fast pitch and stuff like that for them.
yeah, well, we found out last week that there's a varsity sport for women flag football out in California, and
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, I think that's pretty freaking awesome too. Again, I would show up to that game probably before I would show up to the varsity game on Friday night. So anyway, all right, Maggie. I have to say you've done very well sitting there and just keeping your calm and patience, because I could tell you have a lot to talk to us about. So, Maggie, you're 17, you're still in high school, you play baseball, and you're a catcher. Now, fill
Yep.
in all the blanks before that and after that.
All right. So started playing baseball, same as Alexia, when I was 3. My dad got me into it. He grew up around the game, and for basically as long as I can remember, he's worked in the game. Now he runs his own business now, and he still works for Red Sox a little bit. But he got me into the game, and then it kind of just grew from there. There was never really a question of, do you just want to switch to softball? And once I got, sorry, that was my dog.
That's
But
okay.
once I got to about 3rd grade, the question was, do you want to play baseball and softball? And I was like, heck yeah, more reps.
Yeah.
So that's what I did for about 4 summers until 7th grade. Played baseball and softball up to then. Some of the best summers of my life, and just completely full, just of games and practices. It was glorious. And then 7th grade, stopped playing softball just to focus solely on baseball. And so I went just baseball all the way basically until up to now. And now starting to incorporate a little bit more softball, because I would like to play softball in college, but mostly baseball. And then last year as a 16-year-old, I made the top 40 roster for the women's national team. So that was amazing. That was like a dream come true. So I'm excited for this summer to see what I can do with that. And then I'm catching some kids that are throwing pretty hard on our high school team this year. We have a Northwestern commit that's topping out at about 90-91. So that's,
Ooh.
yeah, my hand is a little swollen after that, but it's a great time.
All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So I got to ask, we have this like running competition on this. Actually, it's not even a competition. It's just, I would have to say, Jenn, it's probably being bullied at this point, but nobody thinks that I could catch, like a professional baseball pitcher. And
I've that's never come out of my mouth. I never said you
every
couldn't do
single
it.
other
I'm just
person.
afraid for your life. Afraid or afraid for
Listen,
your life and other body parts. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I
I
don't know
get
how
it.
that's gonna go.
Well, I've never caught. Alexia, what's the fastest you've caught?
96.
96.
I mean, I can just hear it hitting the glove.
I know
Yeah.
it. Like I think I just got like cold chills. Like imagining a 96. I mean, like you hear just that wind and then you feel the pop.
No, believe it or not, you actually see it. It's like that, but you see it.
I hope you see it.
I hope I see it too.
It gets hard.
So I've caught about 84, 83, 84ish. I'm working my way up there. So I'm working on it. So Maggie, I'll have to ask you for some tips and stuff as I get closer. And then if I even get near a 96, yeah, we'll talk about that then. That may go viral, Jenn. Like if I attempt to catch a 96, it might not end well, but hey, for the love of the show, right?
You only live once.
That is true. That is true. So Maggie, what's your story? So I mean, you've told us like an outline of how things started. You started at 3. What do you remember being the biggest difference between softball and baseball? Like as you're playing both at the same time, like now did you catch for both?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So now thinking about just that, obviously, there's a different delivery, the mounds, a different feet apart or distance apart. I can't get the right words tonight. But what's the difference? What would you say the difference is?
So when I was younger, like from like 3rd grade to about 7th grade, there wasn't a huge difference in terms of like size, but the difference in strength with the, I'm not even trying to say this to like knock on women because obviously, but just kind of the difference in strength was becoming more prominent with the girls and the guys.
Mm-hmm.
But camaraderie was a little bit different, but it was still awesome being around my teammates. And then just the ball was, I would say when I was younger, the ball was just bigger, and that was about it. But obviously how the game's played, leads and stuff like that. But then now as I'm getting older, the differences are definitely becoming way more prominent. Catching a baseball coming down from here, and then softball coming down from up and around with the arm, it's a little bit harder to track because you get the softball going up and the baseball coming down. And
Which
then
one's harder?
so far softball, just because
Okay.
not like 100% used to it yet. So
Okay. Alexia, what's your experience with softball? And I'm sorry, Maggie.
you're all good. Don't worry about it.
I've never played a day of softball in my life.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
That's a clip right there for the show. That's going to be all over right there. I've never played a day of softball. And nothing from against you, Maggie. That's just a freaking awesome clip right there. So I can imagine, because that softball, like how do you know when it's going to stop rising? Like the rise ball, like it just goes.
Well, my coaches have been telling me
Yeah.
if it gets, don't swing.
Jenn,
pretty good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different. And I mean, if you got somebody that can throw a really effective rise ball, we had a good system in college where, throw a rise ball that had some good movement on it that was about at the hands, maybe about chest high. And then the next signal would be rise ball. And then I'd go like this. And that means just make it a little bit higher. Okay. So then it'd come in at their chin. And then the next pitch, bring it in just a little bit higher. And that's the strikeout pitch. So I can tell you like that rise ball could be really nasty. On a good day, it's a nasty pitch. I have not caught much baseball pitching But from a softball standpoint, because I mean, if they miss, then you're expecting a rise ball, but it's in the dirt, and it's like, you never really know what to expect. So,
Well, even catching a knuckleball, at least how far down it's going. Like with a rise ball, like, I mean, the sky's the limit. Literally.
Yeah.
We don't ever have to worry about the ball going up in baseball unless they
Right.
But then you just gotta wait till it stops rolling and then you can pick it up.
That's right. Just jump in front of it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, Maggie, I think you made a good point just a minute ago about the differences in like biology between a male and a female, which really bodes support for a women's baseball league, because there are various biological genetic differences between a male and a female. So is it fair for you to play a men's sport? Absolutely. Is it also fair for there to be a women's sport just for women? I think so. I think there's definitely room for it. There's interest in it. And like you said, we're all about, encouraging the women to be standing on our own 2 feet and everything. But do we really need to be playing with the guys? Like, I don't know, because if you're catching and a collision comes at home plate, let's just think about that for a second. I mean, the size of the average male versus the average female is very different. So I think that support needs to be talked about for women having their own leagues, and like don't separate it at some point. I think is a good idea.
Well, let me ask you too. So, Alexia, we'll ask you first. What's perfect world scenario for you 5 years from now? I mean, is it that there's a women's league developed, or that you've got a shot at, double A, triple A, single A ball?
I mean, personally, I want to do it all.
Okay.
So after college, I plan to play a little bit of pro ball, and then if women's ball kind of develops and we have a league by then, I'll go into that and go wherever that takes me. But I mean, it's all on my radar. It's always kind of been a dream of mine. It's just about time that we put it together and we make it happen.
Okay. What about you, Maggie?
So I think that things are just like rising exponentially in terms of the growth of the women's game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we do have a pretty good shot at a women's league, either like WMLB or something off of the AL in the upcoming year. It's gonna take some time and effort and obviously money, but I think it's completely feasible.
I think I feel like if I was talking to MLB and they didn't really want to tell me some stuff, I think they would be thinking about, like, because everything about major sports is about ratings, right? I think they'd be probably intimidated by a women's baseball league, because what would MLB say if the women's league was getting more draw and better, viewership than MLB? Because I feel like that could be the case right now. And because now I will say this season, MLB, and if you two follow it pretty closely, you're probably closer than I am, but it's more tolerable to watch the games this year on TV, the MLB, because mainly the pitch clock.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I don't know about high school. I don't know if they are implementing the pitch clock. Are they, Meg?
No.
No. So college, we have rules about the pitch clock now too. So we have to deal with it. I deal with it on a daily basis. And honestly, like, you don't really notice it like while you're playing, but it is the factor that it's there, and you do have to work a little bit quicker, and you really don't know like where it applies. So unless you like actually read the rule book, but
yeah, there's a bunch of like very complicated rules this year.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, what does it mean when they actually step on the rubber? Like when they touch the rubber, or like when their foot is planted on, you know what I mean? Like it's technicals that I'm not really aware of. But I mean, at the major league level, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, as long as the pros are doing their job and kind of staying to what they should be doing and not doing anything wrong, then we wouldn't really, like, the game moves at the same speed anyway. You know what I mean?
I found this out today, and this was mind blowing for me. But now in the MLB, because of the pitch clock, a player that anticipates and standing ovation has to give that team or that stadium a 2 week notice in advance in order to compensate that time. I heard that today. Like, that's pretty crazy because we're now
That's
so,
not baseball. Yeah, that's not
yeah,
baseball.
that sort of robs the spirit of the game a little bit.
That's if that's true, I don't like that. There's some things that you don't mess with, like an ovation. Come on, if Derek Jeter stepped out of the stadium and tipped his cap to us, I would go crazy.
You're right. Well, there had been some situations already apparently this year where the batter that took a standing ovation had to take a ball, or had to take that first pitch, and to prevent the delay from happening. So,
Right.
but I do appreciate it though. I appreciate the pace of the game more. And
Yeah.
I heard, one of the announcers last night was saying that one of the pitchers actually benefited from it because in between pitches he got so much into his head about what the next pitch was going to be and the ifs, ands, or buts. Now, because he's moving at such a faster pace, it's better for him. Do
Forgets
you
about it.
notice that?
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons, and you just got to kind of like keep moving. Next pitch. But I can't tell you all the pros. I couldn't tell you all the cons because I'm only seeing it from one point of view. You know.
Yeah. Well, Maggie, tell us about this newspaper article that was written about you. And because that's what like caught my attention. And like immediately, as soon as I read this article, I reached out to Allie and I'm like, hey, do you know this girl? Like, we need to get her on the show. Tell us about
Thanks.
this article.
First off, if you don't mind me asking, I want to know how you found it.
Online. She shared it with me on Facebook. No, I think actually I found it and then I shared it with her maybe and was like, "Do you know this girl? Like her last name's Fox with two X's." Because that's pretty cool. That's pretty rock and roll right there. But yeah, it was online, shared with me or something from someone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the union leader, which is the newspaper, like it's just a newspaper for pretty much Southern New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
They they came out. So one of the guys, his name is Roger Brown. He runs the New Hampshire baseball notes for all the divisions of New Hampshire baseball, New Hampshire high school baseball, sorry. And he came out to a game. He was there. We had like a 3 o'clock game. He came out at like 1:45. We were talking before we took BP on the field, and he was interviewing me then. So, and then it's up right there. That's why I was looking. But
Okay.
um, yeah. So he basically just asked me a whole bunch of questions about my game, my experiences, how the boys are treating me, and just kind of what I want to do with it.
You know what I read about that I remembered, and I was telling Jen before you guys hopped on is, like at some point we'll stop making a big deal about this, and it'll just be girls playing ball. And I loved what you said in that article around like the guys that you playing with right now. That's what they see you as, a baseball player. They don't they've grown up around you, and that's what they view you as. I think
I
that was pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, those guys are my brothers. I've been playing with them for forever. Like we all give each other crap every single day. Like SAT scores came out today, and we were all just messing around with each other. We're having, but no, those guys are my brothers.
Oh, Jen, that made me feel old right there. Maggie, you just did it. When she said when all the guys were talking about SAT scores. Remember when the last time you took
Oh,
a test like that?
I think I was probably 17 or 18. Yeah.
I'm trying to forget those years too because I didn't enjoy school too much. But
I never had to take my SATs because of COVID.
oh,
Oh
really?
Yeah, I
What?
got excused for it.
Oh.
COVID gave everybody a free pass for
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Except for those of us working in healthcare. Yeah, except for
exactly.
us.
You just had to work harder. You just had to figure it out. But the
Yeah.
average person, we got paid more. Now,
Hmm.
actually, look, I don't want to take away the negatives part of it because someone's listening right now is going to get mad at me. But like, COVID gave college players an additional year. Like, there was a lot of benefits that come from some of that, not all of it. But that's funny though. You got this. How was your college placement without no SAT?
They didn't need the SATs that year. And when
Holy
So
crap.
if I were to go transfer now,
GPA.
it would just go off of my current grades in school. Like
Really?
I don't need my SAT score because I didn't take it.
Yeah.
Unless the school requires it, and then I have to go back and take it. But
Huh.
That would be terrible to have to go back and take it. But that just proves right there that you don't really need it. That
Yeah,
just proves
exactly.
that proves the whole thing.
Standardized testing. Like, what's it for, really? Like, that's crazy. So, what's your major, Alexia?
Right now I'm majoring in sports management and marketing, and I'm going to minor in communications.
So,
What do you want to do?
exactly.
Well, I want to play first, and then I go into coaching, and then after that, I have my own facility, kind of, just run it my way for a little while.
I love it. Like, she's already got it figured out.
Have you done
Pretty much.
any cool
Not anywhere
internships?
near that. I've got yeah, it's not figured out though.
She just sounds good. Sounds good. Go ahead, Jen.
Have
You
you
asked
done
her.
any really, yeah, just have you done any cool internships that you really enjoyed?
I've not done any internships yet. I've just kind of just been coaching privately on the side and with some other like teams. One of the I'm coach with the ball girls. I do mentorship meetings. That's team coach Ali runs and has started up for girls in baseball. So I'll do meetings with them and coach whenever they come to the East Coast. But besides that, that's kind of the only. I haven't done an internship yet, and I kind of hope to get that on my radar next summer, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you done much with like psychologies and the mental portion of the game?
Not really, not in school. But
Mhm.
on my own, I've read dozens of books, and just kind of writing helps me a lot. I write a lot, and so like I'll write out my thoughts and talk to it with some of my other teammates, and we kind of bond over that, and that's kind of where we learn from each other. That's my psychology side of it, but I don't have any psychology coaches yet. Yeah.
Maggie, you were shaking
That'll
your
be a
head
good,
a lot with that one.
yeah.
Like, where was that coming from?
From the mental sports side of the game. So over here we do at Bedford we do a decent amount of mental skill stuff with, I'm guessing you've heard of him, Brian Kane.
Yes.
Yes. So we did a bunch of his Zoom calls with that, and it's just kind of been implemented in our game, and it's a big part of it now.
I love that. Like, you know what? We haven't heard that yet on the show, is that where coaches have adapted the mental side of the game. And I love that. Tell us a little bit more about that. How does that help you?
So the mental side of the game really helps me because it just keeps me centered in my performance and kind of what I'm doing. If I make a mistake or I call the wrong pitch and it gets hit, you guys probably see Aaron Judge do it. He picks up a bunch of dirt, squeezes it, and then throws it away. It's like mental flush, basically. It's a mental reminder that like we're on to the next play. And I try to help my teammates out with stuff like that as well, just kind of because pitchers, they're a nightmare sometimes. But
all the time.
Yeah, so they're just mentally they're not there all the time. So I just need to make sure that they're the rock of the team. So I need to make sure that they're doing well.
You know what I just heard, Jen? Pitchers are mental. Catchers are crazy, but pitchers are mental.
Catchers are the one that know exactly when to call time and just take a minute, walk out to the mound, and like bring them back in.
Yeah.
And you got to know each pitcher's different, so you got to know what to say to each one of them.
We've had that conversation on the show once, I think. What's the most interesting mound visit you've ever had, Maggie?
It was in softball. Am I allowed to say that?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I don't even know how old I was. I was young. I might have been 10 or 11. But I was on this travel softball team, and my coach comes out and just talking to the pitcher, because younger softball, like they're not throwing a ton of strikes, but they're trying their best.
Sure.
My coach out to the mound, and I go, "Hey, coach, got some jelly donut right here," and we were just messing around and just kept on making jokes. Came out, and then we got out of the inning, so it was fun.
Awesome. Alexia, you laughed, and you had. I feel like you got a good one here.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a good one, but it's probably like when I look back at it and I laugh. I remember it was the first time that I was like really getting an opportunity to play college ball, and we were down in like Georgia or something like that, playing a pickup game, and my coach comes out to the mound, puts a brand new pitcher in, and he's probably one of our best guys, and he's like, "All right, Alexia, here are the signs," and he went through like all the signs with me, and he ran through it really fast, and I was like, oh no. And so I talked to my pitcher right after that. I was like, all right, these are the signs. Like 2 is cutter and 3 is curveball or whatever you want. And I get back behind the dish. My coach gives me a curveball first pitch, and I put down curveball, and our pitcher just like completely like messed it up, and he just threw the ball away, and like I was like, what's going on? This is chaos. And then I went up to my coach afterwards and I was like, Coach, you told me the wrong signs. And he was like, no, I didn't. And it was just that was it was so funny because we all 3 of us had no idea what was going on. And like it was no fault of anyone's own, like anybody's, but like we just were not on the same page at all. And like I was like, that's funny because it's like the first time I went out and it got messed up.
Well, all right. So here's a part of the game that we haven't talked about a lot, and we've got 2 catchers. Well, actually, no, let me apologize. We got 3 catchers on the show right now. How do you call a game? What dictates when you're setting more fastball? You set more movement. Like Alexia, what about you? When how do you call a game?
So the first thing that I like to look at before I even like start about calling pitches, I look at where the batter's standing in the box. And mainly because I can find holes in their swing, not just where they're like how they're swinging, how they take their practice swings. Yes, I look at their practice swings too, but like
you look at practice swings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so if they're on the plate, I'll probably just throw them in because they're not going to be quick enough to
Go
adjust
jam
them.
them.
Yeah. And if they're standing on the white line all the way in the back of the box, like I'm throwing outside because it's going to be a strike all day and they're not going to hit it. So from off that, my approach, I guess, depending on who the pitcher is, I like to stay like fastball changeup heavy, like the first couple batters, see what they can do with the fastball, if they can even touch it. And then like, if I need to go to a secondary pitch, then I'll go to a breaking ball. And then I'll just start working backwards. I love to work backwards. I think I love throwing curveballs for first pitch strikes because nobody swings that curveball. Like as a hitter, we never get told. We say let the first pitch strike. If it's a curveball, let it go. Like you don't want to hit that first pitch. It's like a curse. So like I just do it all the time. Like it's just fun. It's kind of fun. So
okay.
It was very fun. That was the best part of the game. Was
that and throwing that and getting the batters off balance. That's 2 of my favorite things to do.
And throwing runners out.
Yeah, that's it.
Pickoffs. Yeah.
So Maggie, what about you? What dictates how you call a game?
So as Alexia said, just where the batter is, practice swing, stuff like that. But I'm just trying to find the cut, like find the weakness in the hitter, find the weakness kind of in the team, because I mean, I don't really know how it is at the college level, obviously, but at the high school level, a bunch of kids struggle, oddly enough, with the inside pitch and just struggle taking the outside pitch the other way. So I just try to find the cut with that, find their weaknesses, and then obviously if it's a bunt situation, I'm either gonna throw something up and in or a breaking pitch, or just you kind of judge it by the runners on base, who the kid is, stuff like that.
I love it. Like this is a part of the game that we haven't discussed. Go ahead, Alexia.
Oh, it's so fun.
I'm trying to get from the at bat. So if I need to like roll me over ground ball, I'm definitely gonna throw like a curveball low and away, depending on the count, because I know the batter is gonna just try to pull it and it's just gonna turn into a double play. And so that's we were kind of thinking about that as well, like plays, potential hits, and just trying to literally place the ball with our brains. Like it's cool.
It's
now in the
fun.
in the 8th inning, do you know at that point which batters that you need to be aware, like how you're going to pitch them based on, because you memorize probably every single batter that comes up, and if they got a hit, they didn't get a hit, where they hit the ball, like you're playing that game all the way through, right?
Yeah. I mean, by the 8th inning, that's definitely. I mean, we should know that they've come up to the plate like 3 times by then,
right?
So I mean, I'd say by the 3rd inning, 4th inning, if everybody's made an appearance once, then we start to recognize like what's going on and what they did, and kind of try to make it hurt for them a little more.
Yeah, I like it.
You also, another big thing that, well, Alexia knows what I'm talking about. Another big thing that Veronica taught us is that you just want to hide your tricks, like, right? You don't want to go out there like, here's my curveball, here's my sinker, here's my cutter, like all that stuff, change up. Like in the first at bat. You want to hide it and kind of see what the batters can do, and then if they're starting to hit the fastball and starting to hit the changeup, then you start to pull out the other things and keep it going.
What's your favorite throw out for a runner for a put out? What's your favorite, Maggie?
Like favorite pitch?
Well, not even that. Throwing out a runner. Like, do you remember that first time you threw out a runner on base?
Ooh, I don't remember the first. I don't remember the first time. I say ask Alexia this. Get back to me. I gotta think.
Okay.
I
Alexia.
can remember my first time throwing out a runner in high school. So like, because I'm sure I did it before, but it's just not
Sure.
as like but like distinctly remembering it is definitely my favorite one was definitely in high school. I mean, it was a county game, and it was one of the first, like it was an electric game. Like we were winning, and it was a great game. So then I threw out a runner, and I just remember like the umpire just like punched him out. I was like, oh, that's sick. Like I was like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
county game, like it was one of the best games of the year. So it was pretty exciting.
All right, Maggie. You
All
got
right.
yours?
Oh yeah. I had to think a little bit, but I would say last year during high school ball, I threw out 2 runners in 1 inning, so that was definitely a highlight for that. That was fun.
Yeah. You throw them out from your knees?
No, no, no.
See, when I was growing up, I loved. Have you guys ever heard of Roberto Clemente?
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Not Roberto Clemente. I'm sorry. Alomar, not Roberto Clemente. What am I talking about? Benito Santiago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was made the throw in from your knees. What did I say? Jen, I'm still like stuck on that Roberto Clemente. Like, why would I say that? Of course they've heard of
I don't
him.
even know what's going on right now. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know. But so Roberto Clemente used to, like, he was throwing runners out from his knees. And like that made catching to me as a spectator like even more engaged, because I'm like, this dude is just like to second base from his knees. That was pretty awesome. But now
Well, that
it's
brings
kind of
up,
normal.
well, catching has changed a lot through the years. So the way that your crouches when there's runners on base versus not, and with the one leg down, that's totally different than what I
Mm-hmm.
did when I was growing up. So catching has definitely changed. I could and did throw it from my knees, but the amount of girls that are like 14, 15, 16 years old that are doing it from their knees is way higher than it was when I was growing up too. So I think the position has changed also. But talking about calling pitches, in college, I was fortunate that I called the pitches myself. Like I didn't have to look over at a coach to get the pitches first and then relay that to the pitcher. So what do you girls do? Do you get to call your own games, or do you have to rely on a pitching coach or a coach to call this for you?
We have our head coach do it. Um, I'm not 100% like a fan. I've been having our coach do it since high school. In high school, I had a little more of an opportunity to call my own game, but and now our coach does it, and I'm not really like a big fan of it because I feel like it kind of detaches us from the game. Even though like the coach might know a little more sometimes, like it's about me learning if I'm doing the right thing with the right scenario and stuff like that. So it kind of there's a disconnect, and that's what I don't like about it. It's not that I don't like my coach calling the pitches or whatever, but yeah, so he calls it for us.
Is it more controlled? Is that a general statement for college? As you notice, the coaches are calling more. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
plays that
think
get
so. What about you, Maggie?
So for us at the high school level, our head coach calls pitches, but I mean, I'm still trying to think about what I want to call. And like the other day, he goes curveball, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun.
How
There's
many
some
times
guys,
do you disagree?
not many actually,
Okay.
but sometimes the pitcher disagrees, and then coach is like, all right, call the pitches for this at bat. No, okay, got you. But there's some pitchers that like one of our lefties, he'll let me call for him, and then we got this closer that has this nasty 12-6 that he'll let me call pitches for him as well. So it's a fun time.
So what's the relationship like between both of you guys and your pitchers? So Maggie, your pitchers are, high school. And Alexia, you're dealing with college, but what's the relationship like with your pitching staff?
I mean, the guys on my team, my pitchers, I mean, we're all pretty close. I mean, we spent a lot of time together. So like whether it be eating lunch, or just working on our craft in the bullpen. And we were pretty receptive of each other. We try to use each other as a kind of like our coach if our coach isn't there at the time. And so I'll be like, hey, did that look like a strike? He'll ask, hey, was my arm up here? Was my arm here? Am I throwing that from the right angle, from the right arm slot? And so like our pitchers are very very like cooperative, and they're very open to whatever I have to say, and my other catchers as well. And so like
Awesome.
it's a really good environment that we have.
Very cool. Maggie?
I try to make sure that my pitchers I let them know that I have trust in them, and that I'm hoping they have trust in me. But I let them know that I have trust in them, that we got confidence behind them, they got a good defense behind them as well. And then just kind of let them do their thing. I know which pitchers need a little bit more help above the neck, and which pitchers are kind of good to go. But I same as Alexia, like we spend a ton of time together. Like obviously we're not all eating lunch together because it's high school, we got different schedules. But
So
like
crazy. Yeah.
it is pretty crazy. But I see him in the hallway all the time. Like, hey, what's up, buddy? Like little fist bump, whatever. But like they're just entertaining. They're pitchers.
They
I
are
think
entertaining.
one of the most important things too with pitchers is that like sometimes when they're throwing a bullpen or something, like you have to make them think that they did a really good job, even though like it wasn't the best job. But you have to like you kind of gotta
Oh,
baby them a little bit.
okay. When they're warming up, you got to tell them that they were pretty on spot on, huh?
Yeah, like before going into a game, if they ask like how was I throwing, like no, you were throwing cheddar, like it was fast. You know what I mean? When in reality it might not have been. You know what I mean? Like you gotta kind of hype them up a little bit.
You were like,
Hey, that's a good point about like calling your own pitches. If you've warmed that pitcher up and you know what's working and what's not, or I mean, you're the boss lady out there. Like call,
you're the quarterback.
Yeah, damn right.
yeah, absolutely.
I love it. You know what? If I was playing ball today and I listened to this show at any point in time, I think I would have to be a catcher because like everything tells me I should be a catcher. And so if you're listening right now, because I know there's a few that listen on the way to the ball games and stuff with their parents, I'm sorry, parents. Maybe they want to be a catcher today, but I think it's pretty freaking awesome. Like you're calling the shots. Like you're the only position on the field that has a view of the entire field. Like, I mean, everybody else has got their back to someone, or I mean, it's pretty remarkable. So here's the last thing I got, because we don't really talk about this much, but how's the hitting? So Alexia, like, what's the hitting look like? Because there's another part of the game that we very rarely touch on much with catchers, and as comes to hitting. And here's a term that I've learned recently, and it's called hitting tanks. And these kids are like teaching me all these terms like drip and hitting tanks and stuff. So I got to find out about the hitting and the drip. Alexia, what kind of drip do you have on game day?
I mean, I definitely go double white wrist tape.
Okay.
That's my thing. I have like tan lines from it right now. I don't know if you can see. Like,
holy crap!
Yeah.
That's not a farmer's tan. That's a catcher's tan.
Yeah. I'll go. I have my cross necklace right here. That's the one that I like to wear. And then it's either I have white cleats, so my white cleats kind of stand out. And they're pretty flashy. I mean, as a catcher, it's kind of hard to have some drip. I mean, sometimes I'll put like a towel or something in my pocket and just kind of rock with it. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm not like a big I don't like to have that much drip because it's just baseball. You know what I mean? But
drip's nothing to her, Jenn.
Yeah, no. But I love. I was actually just watching your podcast, the podcast from before. You're talking about that kid about drip.
Mateo. Yeah.
And he was like, look good, feel good, play good. I live by that. Like I've lived by that since I was like 5. Like
that's right. He gave us a statement to live on right there. Look good, feel good, play good. Maggie, what about you? How's the drip game with Maggie Fox?
So I got these wristbands I got going.
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
I like the triangle eye black, so like that filled in.
Oh.
But once I'm done catching bullpens, it's smudged already. But and then normally I have I go either pink, black, or red wrist tape on this wrist.
Okay.
And then short pants always.
Short pants. Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
I like that.
I don't know. That's about the extent of it. I try not to go too hard with it because,
Then you're try hard.
yeah, exactly.
I love the fact that I'm 45 and I can say, tell me about your drip, and I don't have to explain it to you guys.
No batting gloves either. Can't do batting gloves.
Nope. All contact, all skin contact.
Yeah.
What about you, Alexia?
I go batting gloves. I go with it's something like a pro hitter. It's a thumb pro. So it's a little bit different than a pro hitter. Yeah, those things are sick. I love it. I have C flaps, so
That's more drip.
And a
or drip
guard, but I don't like a Evo Shield for a leg guard, but I take the toe part off of it. Like I don't like that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It feels like, or it looks like it would mess with your feet a little bit as you're running with that.
Yeah, I mean, you only got to run with it for a little while, but like I just don't. I don't like how it looks. Makes me feel like my foot's like huge.
All right, listen. Jen didn't know I was going to ask her this, Alexia and Maggie. Jen, tell me what your daily workday drip is.
Oh my God. Like now?
Of course. Like on your daily basis, Jen, what's your drip? You could say tomorrow at work, you've been asked this. What's my daily drip? Do you have a daily drip?
Does the Apple Watch count?
I think she gets disqualified for that, though.
I have literally no drip. Like it'll be something branded with my, my business logo and some scrub pants. I feel really lame right now.
Business logo is good drip.
Okay.
What can we do? What can we do to give Jen a little bit more drip? So she's a physical therapist. So I mean, she's got to have a little swag and a little drip to it. She could add something.
I will say, so I had some purple scrub pants on today, and then my shirt matched with like the purple and black logo.
What's your sneaker game like?
Today I had on black Brooks running shoes. That's all I got.
Look,
I got nothing.
I don't either.
What about you, Aaron? I mean,
listen, I have zero drip. Like my day, I work from home most every day, so my drip consists of some khaki shorts, and the drip part is when they're clean. So some clean shorts. Listen, hey, I'm sorry for everyone out there listening. I just have no drip game, but I'm going to work on it though. I look, tonight I showed up with a S.L.I.D.E podcast T-shirt on, so I got a little drip in the game, or at least I think it's a little drip. All right, so we're down to the last few questions. Jen, what do you got for these ladies?
Hold on, I'm going to change to some drip.
How's there that? You go. She's got some drip background.
Okay.
I got wrong hand. This is like a weather station. Oh, my hand's disappearing there. I was gonna, nope, it don't work. Oh well, no drip there either. See, I'm dripless.
Yeah.
Any final questions for these ladies, Jen?
I can't think of anything. I really appreciate you guys coming on. This was fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
It really was. All right, so our last question, and if you've listened to a previous podcast before, you're ready. So, Maggie, we're going to start with you because I know Alexia just watched Mateo's. So, what's your walkout song? Tell me, are you walking up to bat? What's that song?
Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like 3 seconds to like 15, and then it cuts off.
Oh, she even knows like the starting time. I like it.
Gotta give it to the manager.
Okay. All right, Alexia, what's yours?
This one's a hard one, but what I decided to go with this year was Ain't That Some by Morgan Wallen. I used to go with like rock, and then I changed it over because I was just like, it's more comfortable for me in the box. I'm more relaxed. I'm more like there's not so much pressure as there used to be with like rock. I feel like rock was getting me so hyped up that like I would feel like all jittery, but like country kind of just like cools me down before I get in.
Morgan Wallen mellowed you out, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think about him not showing up to that concert the other night? Did
I
you hear
thought
about that?
that was bad. Yeah, I thought that was bad.
I hated that for him. I'm a Guns
Oh,
N'
he didn't
Roses
come to?
fan. I'm a Guns N' Roses fan, and Axl Rose is notorious for keeping everybody waiting until the middle of the night before he decides to come on. But Morgan just bounced on everybody,
Yeah. You hear
60,000
what
people.
Luke Combs did? Luke Combs said his voice wasn't feeling good, refund the tickets, and then played anyway.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I did hear that. But
Yeah.
also, what's the rumor about why Morgan Wallen didn't come on?
He
Why
said
he
he
canceled?
couldn't sing. He said his voice was shot, like he couldn't speak.
Hmm.
That's what I heard.
Well, the rumors is he couldn't speak because he may
Because
have
he was
been
out.
inebriated, but I don't know. I hope that's not true because
Yeah.
the guy seems so genuine, and so heartfelt. I would like to think that's not true. So, well, that was awesome. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a huge Morgan Wallen fan, but now I'm a huge Alexia
Me
Jorge
too.
fan and Maggie Fox. I want you guys for sure to keep us in the loop. Maggie, your journey into college, please, I beg you, keep us involved,
Of course.
and let us know how things are going. And as Jenn changes her drippy background, literally, it's drippy now. It's literally drippy
Yeah.
now. So, and Alexia, I want to be educated on this USA baseball team. So keep us involved. Let us know how this thing goes. Because are you guys going to be in Florida in October?
Yeah.
You'll be there? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'm trying my best to work my way down there.
Yeah,
So hopefully, I hope we can get down there to the Classic. So, but thank you guys so much for hopping on with us. Maggie, you got to come back. I want you to come back and be a guest host with us. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Both of you guys.
Sure.
We have all kind of personalities on the show. We got little kids, but huge personalities. So we're always welcoming new guests because sometimes it's hard for us to figure out how to keep some of this controlled. So you have to help us. Awesome. Well, thank you for everyone out there listening. I know this has been a very entertaining podcast for everyone to listen to. There's been some amazing notes to take for all players out there, even if it's how to call a game, how to control a pitcher. There's a lot of great stuff to take away from this episode. Jenn, what do you think about this episode?
I had a great time. This was super. Loved it.
Yeah, I did too. Well, thank you guys so much for following, listening, subscribing. Please recommend us to your friends and family out there. Get us involved in front of everyone, because our goal is to spread the positivity in the youth baseball game. And I think these ladies have done an amazing job tonight. So, all right, we're going to finish it up and I'm going to stop ranting and rambling. This is the last part, and we've turned this over to our guests. So, Alexia, if you heard Mateo do this, you know this one already. So, at the end of the show, I always say, until next time, and then we wrap it with, we'll catch you on the slide. All right, you got it?
So y'all got to say it.
We'll catch you on the slide.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go. Well, until next time, listeners.
We'll catch you on the slide.
Oh my gosh, we got to do better than that, Maggie.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let them do it.
You got to do it.
Okay.
All right, Maggie, you ready? Maggie, I'm gonna let you start it off, okay? And you say until next time, and then we'll do the rest.
You ready?
Yep.
3, 1. Until next time.
We'll catch you on the slide. Alexia, come on now. You're leaving me out to dry now. We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna let you do it yourself now. You're in the punishment corner. All right. So Maggie, you say it, and Alexia, you finish it.
All right.
Till next time.
We'll catch you on the slide.
That was perfect.